and welcome to the Cade and Friends podcast. I'm Cade, and I'm here with my friends, Debbi Tucker and Alex Clare.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing today, Debbi?
Oh, I'm just fine. This is very cool. My very first podcast.
Oh, it's your first podcast.
Really?
My first podcast.
Oh, I would have expected you to have done more.
Yeah, we need to get you on more podcasts, Debbi. If you have a podcast, Debbie's available to do these.
It's kind of like ADR, except more stuff.
I did not think we were the first to capitalize on the podcast.
You're well known in the Tulsa film community, and so that surprises me with the things.
Cade sent me the commercial that you were in because I'm in Ohio now, and so I don't get like these regional commercials.
No, you had to YouTube or Facebook or Vimeo or whatever. Which one was it?
I sent because this is the one I've seen a lot. I see on the TV all the time. Is that the computer one?
Oh, Wholesale Computer Supply. That is so old. I can't believe it's still airing.
It's still
because they
airing.
turn those things around a lot.
Yeah. I see that they're like before a lot of the news, the local news here, and so they'll be you and. You're like, what you're thinking, like you're like, oh, I need my computer repaired.
I have a Zoom meeting on Friday and my computer just died.
Yeah. Well, Debbi, if you want to describe, how would you describe yourself, Debbi?
Crazy old lady. Quirky sense of humor. I'm a Libra, so that is the creative sign, and it film, music, good books. I love anything creative that elicits emotions or whatever. So
You like cats?
I love cats.
You just said right before we started this that you're comfortable, and the only thing you would want is a cat in your lap, and I relate to that.
They are calming and soothing for the most part, and funny.
And for our audio listeners who don't get to see the video, she's wearing a shirt that says Taco Cat on it, and it has little cats on it.
Taco Cat spelled backwards is Taco Cat.
I have a very similar shirt to myself. If I knew you were going to wear that shirt, we could have.
Yes, you could have.
We could have had a nice. I know on Facebook you sometimes share like little cat things on Facebook.
Videos. I actually have a real cat who is crazy. So
just one.
Just one. That's all I one at a time in a small apartment is about it. The deposit would kill you because it's per pet. Crazy.
I think cat deposits or animal deposits just way too expensive. Yeah. For just like, especially, I feel like depending on the animal, it could maybe be like more or less, but they're outrageously expensive.
They are. The deal at our place is, say you have one animal and you're a responsible pet owner. There are others who are irresponsible, which is a shame. But if your pet is old and perhaps it is sick, and if it passes and you'd like to have another pet, they make you pay another deposit.
You can't just...
No.
Oh my God.
And it's non-refundable. I think it's a money-making deal. They're making money off responsible pet owners to cover the irresponsible ones, because like I told them, because that happened to me. I said, when I leave, you're only going to replace the carpet and repaint once. You're not going to do it multiple times, depending on how many pets we have.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense, but
yeah. I guess at that point you just need to if you have you just need to get a single colored animal, and then if it does pass, you just all right, get a new black cat and just say, yep, that's Oliver.
Yep, but such is life in the apartment world. There's not really any city ordinances that they're more or less free to do what they want.
Yeah.
So, But anyway,
exactly.
A person should have a pet. I think be a responsible owner, because pets bring a lot of joy. They're great. Animals are cool.
Yeah. And
so for people who don't know, you're an actress. You do a lot of acting. That's how we met. you're heavily involved in the local film community. You've appeared in a lot of different. I'll see just some local person does a film, and I'm like, oh, Debbie's in it, and Debbi, and you seem to be very heavily involved in that. So I didn't know if you wanted to speak to that at all.
It's just fun. In high school, I just took drama and also in college. Didn't really do any actual film work until I lived in Austin for 13 years, and that's where I got into it because I had friends at the place I worked that did it. And of course, Austin's a big mecca for film, anything creative. And I learned who the groups to join. The UT Film School, which is very well known, always needed people to come for their student projects, and I did a lot of that. Did a lot of just extras in commercials. Didn't really do big name film. I can't really say I didn't do big name films. I did, but I was an extra background. No real speaking parts except for local films. Mm-hmm. So you got to start somewhere, and I find it's a lot of fun because you can become different characters, and you can do some improv, bring your own take to them. You can costume. I'm a big thrift shopper anyway.
Yes.
And that's a lot of fun. I love the costuming part. But when I returned back to Oklahoma, I just learned where the Facebook groups were, the agencies, training if you wanted it. I retired from my permanent job in last April, so now I'm free to do more. I don't have to work it around my job. But I just... I'm in the Facebook groups. I do have an agent, so I get calls there, and there are casting sites that I check, and that's how I do it. And then once you've done some, people will call you or local filmmaker. A lot. Actually, the majority of what I do is for my friends, local filmmakers. A lot of it does not pay, but it's fun.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
and I enjoy it.
It's kind of like a fun hobby.
So
were you born in Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you went to Texas for college?
I was born and raised in Oklahoma, left here in 1987 to Kansas I was married at the time, and my ex got a job promotion, and from there to Jackson, Mississippi with my work for a year, and then to Austin for 13 with my work again. He and my son are still in Austin. My son is like 36, so he's on his own. He's cool. But and my job brought me back to Oklahoma because our company had gotten bought, and they said, you can move to Tulsa with the company or get laid off.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, okay, I'll come home. Oh, wow. And that's why I'm back here, and just got back into, checking around, looking to see what's available, and that's how I got back into it. I've made a lot of friends, a lot of production companies, and they'll call you, you fit into a type, or audition-wise, you drive to Norman. The big casting director here in Oklahoma is Chris Freihofer there in Norman, or Michelle DeLong in Oklahoma City, and I would drive there for auditions. It's just for a chance, just a shot, get in the audition room. A lot more no's than there are yeses, but at least it's a chance. COVID has stopped that with a lot of virtual stuff, which I have some friends that will do my video auditions. I can do them, but I don't have the fancy lighting. I have like a ring light, But you do what you enjoy. I do work a lot in Springfield. I'm going there this week. It's not that far, straight down 44. Yeah. And their talent pool there apparently is not, they don't have major casting agencies or whatever.
Interesting.
And I've done things for the same people over and over. They'll hit me up or call, once you're known and known to be reliable.
Yes.
But I haven't done as much as I have several friends that have done a lot and put a lot more time and money and effort into it. You just got to know your limitations and what you want to get out of it. I enjoy it. I want to do the best I can at it within my limitations. So being retired, it gives me the time. It doesn't necessarily give me the money. And I'm regional. I don't go all over. And if a big production wanted to pay me to come to New York or LA, I would. But just me.
And Debbie's, I'll speak for Debbi. She's so great at not only just talented, but you're very reliable. You're very you show up on time. You're ahead of time. Always Debbie's first person to show up at these things, and she really takes it seriously. You do really take it seriously, and that is really nice. And when we did Ribbon, I think you raised the bar of all the actors there. Everyone was like, well, Debbie's taking this seriously. Everyone, and everyone took it really seriously. And I think that was in part because of how seriously you took it.
But you also have a lot of fun. You take it serious.
Yeah. So when you went, I had to serious. Did we take it serious? No.
We didn't take it serious in that like we had fun, but all you were there to do what what we were doing. But you kept it very fun. You kept it very lighthearted.
It's a good balance. You want whenever you're on, doing films and stuff, you have to have a balance of you want it where you have fun and everyone's having a fun time because in Ribbon's case you're making a fun film and so you want it to sort of have that energy, but also you had to get the job done and you had to be there and do the lines and do everything. So it's a great balance and
you're marketing yourself. You were asked to do. It's like a job more or less. It's a fun job.
Yeah.
But you were asked to do this. Mm-hmm. So it's just like being at work on time. You're given a time. Granted, it can change. Call times are known to change.
It's just those connections. Because you guys met, because Cade and I invited Cade to a thing that I was invited to. And then Cade had met you, and you guys had started talking.
Right.
And then, that developed.
Because I was looking for a person to fill the Pearl role.
Yeah, that was the 48-hour film fest thing we did.
Yeah, the 48-hour.
Yeah, downtown Tulsa.
And so then you guys had that connection. Then you guys have done another project with Chrim.
Yes, Chrim.
That was interesting.
Debbi was the star of that one. Yeah. Yeah. And Debbie's really helped with, I don't know, with getting more into the Tulsa community, with the pages, the Facebook pages and different things that has really helped. Whereas before I felt like I wasn't really all that involved in it. And now I have at least a foot in the door for whenever I, want to continue and do all that stuff.
And we've learned that, we have other mutual friends that Debbi knows and that Debbie's worked with and just, whether
Debbie's worked with everyone here.
Not everyone.
Contact her agent if you haven't.
She's at least she's whatever the Kevin Bacon of this. She's at least a few degrees separated from everybody. She's the nexus point.
You can't always work on the huge, like a lot of the huge films and all that have been here. You submit for extra, even background roles or whatever roles, and it's a crapshoot. You may or may not get chosen, and you just deal with it and move on. And
what were some of the big productions that you did do here? Weren't you in Minari?
I was a background. And they actually kept my scene in. It was the hospital scene where the kids were playing in the hall, and I just crossed behind them.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I was excited because a lot of that stuff gets cut. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. A lot of that stuff gets cut.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. We're gonna jump into our first segment.
Yeah, I think that's excellent timing.
Okay, we'll do our first segment. So we have segments in the show. I don't think that was
All right.
So our first segment here is titled Childhood Fears. Yeah, there you go.
Music is
by Chrim. Chrim's obviously our in-house music person, I guess you'd say. He did the music for Ribbon and for we did a music video for Chrim, and then he did the music for this podcast as well, which I love Chrim, and he does a great job. They're all set, and I love the synthesizer music.
He made the music directly for the show. You gave him just some outlines, and you were like, it's a fear thing, and I think he got
he got the vibes.
He got the vibes on everything perfectly.
Fear the podcast.
This is just a segment of the show. It's really more of a question that we turn into a segment. But it is a segment that we've done a few different times because I think it's a fun thing, and it's where we just ask sort of what were some like weird little childhood fears that you have, or like whether or not that was like a real thing, or mostly it's just sort of in childhood things that you made up in your head as being worse than it was. Some people are scared of spiders. Some people are scared of still to this day. There's different examples that we've had. Anything that you could come up with?
Oh, we were raised in rural Oklahoma. We had a big, huge lawn, and tarantulas would come.
Oh,
Spiders.
We would actually run over them with a lawnmower. That's not nice, but I wasn't really afraid. I didn't want to be anywhere near them. So I guess that's kind of a fear. Snakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spiders, snakes.
Yeah. How was your childhood? Was it fun? Did you?
Yeah. I'm the oldest of 4.
Okay.
2 sisters and a brother. And we had gardens. My folks also grew up in rural Oklahoma and had gardens, and
So, did you have? Because you went to a small town. I went to a small town school. Did you have any kind of like culture shock whenever you went from your school to college? Did you go to a bigger college, or did you go to a small college?
I went to East Central in Ada, and a small college at that time, early 70s, probably 3,300. Ada is kind of in the middle of nowhere. You got to drive a while to get somewhere, and you kind of have to make your own fun. I was in sorority for a while, which that provided a lot of activities, but I enjoyed college. I had a lot of fun and made a lot of friends, and still in touch with a lot of them today.
Yeah, I know Cade and I met in college, and we're obviously doing this now.
Right.
But I know because I went from a small school to a small college. And where I graduated with 65 people, and then I went to a college, but it was a small college. And then I've been to bigger colleges, and I'm just like, I don't know how people do this. That was it blew my mind to just kind of go. And I know that there's other people who have similar experiences where they graduate with less than 100 people. And
I did.
Yeah, and so moving to a college with that's double or triple the size, it's kind of sometimes like, oh my gosh. But then
not only that. But you then moved to like larger cities later, and so that
right. Oklahoma City, single and early married years in Oklahoma City and Austin, and
but none of it ever overwhelmed you where you got to like the size of it.
Actually, no. I used to go to friends, and I would go up to Norman a lot from Ada because we had other friends up there, and I was and still am a huge OU fan. So hit the games. I know the campus. I know the area in Oklahoma City. I know it. Tulsa, I never really spent much time. And my college roommate was from here, but I didn't really know it until I moved here. And Tulsa is easy to get around in. It's built like a tic-tac-toe grid. The streets are. Yeah. It's laid out. It's super easy.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I didn't frequent, I would always just kind of go to like smaller towns growing up. And so I never went to like really big cities other than, just because we didn't really have a need to.
Right. And do you enjoy living in the cities, I would assume, since you've done it?
Yeah, I like it. I like being close to amenities.
Yes.
I do. I like peace and quiet if I want to sleep or just relax. But I think I'd always want to live nearer to suburb cities rather than a rural area.
Yeah. How does your brothers and sisters, are they what are they doing now? Is that
my brother is still in Ada. He and his wife, he owns his own business, but they travel a lot to Norman, Oklahoma City. They've come to Tulsa. They travel around. They go vacationing a lot. They go all over the country. They just bought a mobile vehicle.
Oh, wow.
And they just take off and go. They're not stuck in Ada, so to speak. They have a lake place down on Eufaula. My 2 sisters are in the Birmingham, Alabama area.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And then, so are you the only one? You said you also had a kid. Are you the only one who does any acting type stuff?
My son would if he had more time. He's a lot like me. He has my sense of humor. Loves movies, music. He did. with the job that he had before he's at now, he had some spare time, and he actually got featured extra with screen time in the movie Bernie, Jack Black, Shirley MacLaine.
Yeah,
he was one of the IRS
Texas,
agents.
right?
Yeah, that was locking up, chaining up his doors. He was one of them. But
it's a good movie.
his job, it was good. Mm-hmm. He's a marketing. He works for a company called Blended Sense, which is a very successful startup. He's marketing sales. He may be a sales manager, director. He's up high, but he's got the business marketing degree from OU. So he's done real well. I'm really proud of him. But I know he would do more of it if he could, because he enjoys that as well. So
sounds like we need to get him on the podcast. If he's ever up here.
Yeah, if he ever comes up here, he would. You all would love him. He would have you roll.
I was gonna say, if he has your sense of humor, I think we're.
Yeah, it could be worse because I don't have a lot of filter. But it's fun. You really have to laugh. I think laughter is good.
Yeah,
everybody needs just to have that outlet.
And does he have any kids, or is
he has a girlfriend. He has not gone that far yet, so that's his deal. I don't. It's not a need or requirement for me to be a grandmother, but it's his life,
Yeah. I know some people that's something they really want. They want to they want to be a parent. They want to be a grandparent, and so. It's always interesting to hear different people's, thoughts. And then
some do. It's cool. You don't. I remember my ex's parents, when we'd all go visit, they would all the grandkids would come in, and they would always ask them, "Well, do you have a girlfriend?" Well, this, that,
yeah.
So I thought, I'm not going to be there. I know.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure that you've kind of put on.
Yeah. It's they have to live their own lives, but we are in close contact. We are texting a lot, and his girlfriend is really sweet. I really like her, and they seem to be happy. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Alex, you have any childhood fears to wrap up this episode?
Alex.
I was always, I don't like things that can sting, like a wasp. I hate wasps.
You ever been stung by a wasp, Debbie? Or a bee or anything?
I remember as a child, we were visiting my grandmother, and she lived in a little town called Red Rock, Oklahoma, and she had big flower gardens, a hen house out back, and for some reason I was young, maybe elementary school, and I saw this really pretty, and he looked so soft and fluffy, bumblebee on a flower that I just wanted to touch him, but he did not like it.
So he stung you then?
He did.
Wow.
But I have, I might have been stung by I don't know. Have you ever been stung by a scorpion?
No. Have you?
No.
Oh.
Those things are ugly.
No. I do not. I don't like the desert for that reason. Scorpions. People who have scorpions as pets, I'm like, what if it gets out and jabs you? But no, I just, the typical, I briefly afraid of the dark, but like I got over that really fast. I enjoy the dark. I like the dark. I don't know what in me was like, I don't want to be afraid of the dark. And so I always was like, I always enjoyed the dark. I like it. I wish I could have night vision, just because I like the dark, to just be able to go.
Are you a morning person, or you're more of a night person, Debbie?
Oh, I could be either. I'm not like a night owl like I used to be. I'll stay up as late as I once did. I guess that's true of everybody as we get older. I guess more of a morning person because of that. I always tend to wake up early from working all these years. You kind of have an internal clock.
Yeah.
I think I remember Cade, definitely a night person.
I'm like, I would love to be a morning person. I think that would make my life a lot more easier if I love getting up in the morning and it woke up all happy and everything. But no, I enjoy the night a lot, and I always can feel like I can stay up a little bit later than getting up is always a chore for me. But I love breakfast, and that's the biggest conflict of my entire life is not being a morning person and loving breakfast.
You can have breakfast all day at any place now.
I feel like I remember you, Kate, talking about like, if you had like an ideal shift time, it would be like 8 p.m. to like 4 a.m. or something.
Yeah, I would wish the whole world would shift to night, or that I do. I like the aesthetic of night, and I like night.
It's a good close up.
I like night.
So, good thing there's places like Denny's and IHOP and Waffle House where you can get a nice 24-hour breakfast.
Yes,
true.
Yeah.
Or McDonald's. Had some McDonald's.
They used to have all-day breakfast. Now they don't. I think we've talked about that at length in our podcast. Is the saddest thing ever. They stopped doing that. But it's probably not the saddest thing ever, but certainly.
For you.
For me. Any other fears? Wrap that up? No, that was fun.
Hate bugs.
Hate bugs.
Bugs, no bugs.
I was stung recently at a shoot with a wasp for work. We were done
Workers' comp.
We were done with the shoot, and we were leaving, and a wasp all of a sudden landed on my pinky, and then just stung me.
For no reason.
For no reason, unprompted. I mean, I guess I was at where they later said, oh yeah, there are wasps that hang around there. So maybe I was kind of encroaching on their territory. But I never saw them up until the moment it landed on my
Did
finger.
you do anything? Like, did you have to do anything? Or did you just like wash it on? Like, what did you do after you got stung?
I went and got some like Benadryl in case it had any allergic, I guess, reaction. And nothing really happened. It hurt. And there was like it did swell slightly. Mm-hmm. It was this hand because I had my watch on, and it did start to get a little bit swollen. But and you were for a while able to see like the indentation, but you can't see it now. But it was right there.
Did you like scream and like yell and say, "Don't do that"?
I was holding a gimbal, like a little thing to hold the camera, and it made me drop it. It didn't break it, hurt anything, but that was about it. All that happened.
Is the wasp still alive?
I have no idea. Don't they die afterwards?
Do they leave their stinger?
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think wasps die after stinging.
Let's ask Google. Hey Google, do wasps die after stinging people?
On the website familyhandyman.com, they say, no, wasps do not die after they sting. Bee stingers, excluding bumblebees, have a large barb that causes it to tear from the body after use, resulting in the bee's death.
Okay, so not bumblebees, but other bees, I guess. Yeah. They die. Yeah. Okay.
That's well, I'm sorry you got stung.
It was fine. It's more of a story for other people, seemingly. They're like, okay, got stung. And it was like, yeah, I mean, it happened.
Did you take the Benadryl, or did you just like buy it to be like, just in case?
I took it, and it might have helped it. It might have helped it, I guess, but I don't know.
Awesome.
Cool. That's been Childhood Fears.
Neat.
So, Debbie, so you do a lot of acting, of course. That's what a lot of this is about. We'll remind the audience in case they've forgotten. Do you enjoy doing more comedic roles or more dramatic roles, or do you just like a mixture?
I can do either, but I love comedy. I love, like you all know, I love witty dialogue and good improv. I don't know, things just pop into my head, a lot of times. And some of the scripts I really liked. I thought Ribbon was wonderful. I really enjoyed that. But I'm more drawn to comedy because of that. Grammar and composition were my strong suits in college and high school. So words, witty wordplay, like Robin Williams was really good.
Do you ever write anything? Have you ever written?
No, not really.
Yeah.
Not really. But comedy, I think I'm more geared to comedy. We've all been sad about Betty White's passing, of course. And so we're like, she and Robin Williams are going to go up and do the best stand-up.
Yeah.
Do you like improv? Do you ever do improv?
Love it. When given the opportunity, I've taken a couple of workshops, but nothing that was straight improv. I've had to do that for some auditions, but nothing.
So what did they?
Things that come out like in. Did we do? We didn't do any improv in Ribbon. Did I do any? Do you remember? It might have been a few things, but I think we stayed pretty. The script itself was so funny.
I believe there was like moments and stuff that were like improv, like different, like, or it was worked out live on the day. Yeah.
Oh, the part where I was watching Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, that's what one I was thinking of
And,
too.
yeah, Joseph came in and like whatever, and I'm like, we need more chips, and I just rubbed my hand on the sweater with all greasy chipped.
Yes.
I thought that's one of my favorite parts.
Do you prefer?
And I don't think I think that was also a line that was worked out during the day. I think there was originally some other line that Pearl said, and that was one of those things that we kind of tried different things, and that ended up being the more funniest part. And so that you have to sort of be that way with the script can be as funny as you want, but then sometimes lines don't work on the day, and that you could find a different way or a different button or a different angle for the scene.
It's nice to have directors that allow a little lenient, and they can reel you in if you, or that discuss, hey, what about this? Can we try that? Do you want to,
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that means you prefer like you'd rather have a little more lenient of a script and like a little more improv abilities than being strict.
The possibilities, yeah, and a lot of that's discussed up front. The commercials, it's not a big a deal, but as it would be in a role. I've done some comedic commercials. The stuff I do in Springfield, I always share when I can, and there is a law firm there that they write them specifically. Comedy. It's called Ozark Elder Law, and I did a spot for them, and it was really funny, which I shared. None of that stuff ever airs here.
Yeah.
So I just share it when I can.
Yeah.
It's funny that there's like a market that's just right outside of Tulsa that you're right there. They don't get our things. We don't get their things.
Yeah,
and
true.
They're really close.
Oklahoma City's that way. I mean, casino commercials. We don't see a River Wind here.
You're right.
Or Windstar.
Yeah, no, that's very true.
Do you gamble?
Nope.
Nope. All right.
Nope. Not that way. You all know I play a little bingo. I do believe you all played a little bingo in Claremore.
Cade and I do enjoy a good bingo game.
I still go. They're open on Saturdays now during the day.
You still go to Claremore?
Yes, just on Saturdays.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
I'm glad that we introduced you to
fun.
that bingo hall. Do they all know you there?
VFW.
Do they all know you there now?
Yeah. Well, it's fun because it keeps you sharp, and it's very clean. The concession stand is good. People are friendly. I enjoy it. To me, it's like I read fast. I have fast hand-to-eye coordination. I don't do casinos and the computer stuff. I like the good old-timey with the markers.
Yeah.
And I find it fun, and it's daytime, so I'm not driving and driving back at night.
Yeah.
I'm finding that I don't really like night driving as much, even on familiar roads. So they just opened this Saturday bingo up there. So
yeah, because we would do Tuesday, Thursdays.
I know.
At 7, and then while we were
remember that time we went and they got onto us because we were talking and the other players were.
They didn't like us talking.
They didn't like us.
They were very welcoming because the first time we went there, the person that talked to us, we were like, we're new here. We don't really know what we're doing.
It's the same floor workers and the same lady.
And so, she was very nice. She was like, okay, well, do you have a dauber? And I was like, a what?
A dauber.
And so, they were very like, okay, you can use this one, you can buy them here.
You gotta go buy
it. And we definitely need to go back, but I think the most we ever made was $25. And we made our money back.
I think that one time that we went, we all like won something, right? There was that because we played the minis or whatever, and we
Yes.
Yeah, y'all didn't play regular session. You just played the minis.
Yeah, we just did that pregame.
The whole thing.
But I definitely think we left in the hole. I don't, because every time we lost except the one, and I think we just made enough to make our money back and maybe buy a candy bar.
That's
more of the sort of fun of the
and it goes to a good cause.
It does.
Veterans.
So it's fun.
Bingo was not. Cade, I'm pretty sure suggested like we go to bingo, and I'm pretty sure I probably was like, "Are we really gonna do this? I guess we can."
And then we did a few times, and then we like mentioned. I think offhand mentioned it to Debbie, and Debbie was like, "Oh, I like playing bingo and everything," and so she came and joined us, and then she took over there. Now that's fun that she's found a place there.
I'm out of town and everything, so there's not really like it's harder to go to when you're in Ohio.
There's bingo in Ohio.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. I just need to find a nice bingo hall. I'm pretty sure I still have the dauber that Cade got. Pretty sure I bring it with me everywhere I go because I'm always
what city in Ohio are you in? Columbus or?
I'm in Sandusky. Right there.
Sandusky, I've heard
right
that.
there by Cedar Point.
Okay, wait a minute. Google, where are bingo halls in Sandusky, Ohio?
You got to say, "Hey Google." Hey Google.
Where are bingo halls in Sandusky, Ohio?
I found a couple of choices. Wyandotte County Humane Society Bingo Hall, American Legion Post 83, and KFC.
KFC.
Hey, if one benefits the Humane Society.
Yeah. Wow. I guess I just didn't really like think about it because like I see it and I'm like, I should play bingo again, and then it just kind of like leaves my mind.
And remember to get a dauber.
Yeah.
Well, I have Cade, so I have that one. But
I did not know you still had it with you. Was it in your car or something?
Why do you have to
I'll bring
say,
it with me
"Hey
everywhere."
Google"?
Yeah, I think that's the way that it listens to you. So it listens for. I think you can say, "Hey Google" or "Okay Google," which I don't know is probably listening now. You have a question to ask? Well,
hi to you. Do you feel like playing or chatting?
Playing.
Oh, we're gonna do a game show here.
Great. I can offer you a riddle or a tongue twister.
Ooh.
Which would you prefer?
A riddle.
Here you go. How can you get 4 suits for $1? Buy a deck of cards.
Oh, so they just
Didn't even give us time.
They didn't give us time to do it. No.
Thanks, Google.
What did I say? Hey Google, do you know Alexa? Are you friends with Alexa? Or Siri? Or Cortana?
We might start a little. Because you have an iPhone, right?
Yes.
We should introduce them sometime. Maybe that's
this makes you. That's a whole skit.
Yes. They're all talking.
we can make a movie out of that.
I think that they're one
an
of them.
SNL skit or something.
Yes, I think one of them has the ability to sort of chat with the other one. I think it's like maybe the Alexa that has the ability to, like, it kind of starts a conversation if you put them next to each other.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there's a way to start that chain.
It'd be funny. There'd be a lot of stuff you could do with that.
You can have Google serenade you. We learned, but due to possible
Copyright.
we won't do that. But it is the best thing in the world.
We will head into our second segment, I guess, of the day. This one is titled Lil Nicky. Hi, Debbie.
Hi.
Welcome
Hello.
I really hope you enjoy this. This is.
I'm curious about what this is going to be.
It's going to be an interesting one.
We don't know. We don't know exactly how popular these segments are. They could be very popular or not at all. So because we have not released these as of yet, these things. But this segment of the show, we play a pre-recording that Alex and I did
2 years ago now.
2 years ago now. Because we've been trying to get this show off the ground for 2 years, but it's eventually the release is imminent. So this is great. So this is 2 years ago. Alex doesn't really remember this. I had to listen back to set this all up, but I think I'm gonna be a little bit nicer to Debbie and tell her the premise of the thing real quick. Yeah. So this essentially other people going completely blind, but I'll let you know. We sit here, me and Alex riff for a few minutes. It's a lengthy amount of time.
Hindsight is a lot more time than.
And we try to come up with a nickname for you. That's what the premise is.
Oh, goodness.
Okay. And then so I guess we can go ahead and roll the tape. And we can pause this at any time if you want to, and you can respond live if you want to different things. Just listen to us do this.
Talk about you.
Talk about you
2 years ago.
2 years ago for like around 10 minutes straight. It's a lengthy amount of time. Hello, Alex.
I was drinking some water. That was an awful time. Hello, Cade. What are we doing right now, Cade?
This is Lil Nicky. Oh, there you go. What you doing, Alex?
Lil Nicky.
I think you're here for this one.
I'm
I don't know. This is all in the future. We have no idea. I think you're here with this one.
You want to explain that, before
we? So at the time of recording this, I was going to be in less of these podcasts. It was going to be more like Cade doing one-on-ones, and then me like showing up for some people.
But Alex adds some good pizzazz.
And so I've only missed one so far, and that was the one 2 years ago. And so it's just kind of the evolution of the show. So I've now not missed one, and who knows, maybe I'll never miss one. If the audience loves me, then I'll stay, and if they don't, then I guess I'll miss more.
We are filming these, some of these right now. Before all of these, this is the only segment that is going to be pre-recorded. We just filmed Anna's, Dakota's, and Ariel's, and we are now going to do Debbi's.
So, in case you don't know how Lil Nicky works, Lil Nicky is a segment in which me and Alex try to come up with a nickname for one of our friends, and then we pitch it to them, and they either accept or decline the Lil Nicky.
By this point, our major fallback, I think, is just friend and then their name.
Yes, which we haven't fell back on just yet.
Yeah, we are number 4, and we will see.
It was very close with the Ariel one. We decided to go with something that you know what? I'm just going to guess it. She definitely declined.
I hope she said yes.
Yeah.
But this is about Debbi.
This is about Debbi, our good friend Debbi. How did you meet Debbi?
I was working, doing some film stuff.
Was it the same time I met Debbi?
No, I met Debbi, I think, before you met Debbi. However, we met, you met Debbi whenever we went and did some film stuff.
Yes.
And you started talking to Debbi, I think, and you really hit it off with her, and you thought she would do great in your movie.
Yeah, in a film I was doing. Because I was looking for a very specific role, and I thought she, from what I could tell from what she did in that little piece, it was a short film that we were doing just over one day, and I thought she had really great comedic timing and would be really good for this.
She was really fun to work with.
I thought there wasn't a cap on that water. I thought you spilled it everywhere.
I knocked over my water, almost spilled it everywhere.
So yeah, that's how I met Lil Debbi. Also, fun fact, Ariel knows Debbi from a thing that they worked on separately.
Yeah.
So we all know each other. It's almost as if we are all friends. Cade and Friends.
Plug.
So we want to try to keep this all within around 10 minutes, give or take a bit. So I'm going to have a stopwatch and...
you going to do 8 minutes?
Yeah, we haven't taken too much time on the intro on this one.
No.
So 8 minutes.
8 minutes. We'll do 8 minutes.
We're going to do an
8 minutes of this, Debbi.
So bad for everyone who gets less. Someone might get more.
Sometimes we just feel like vamping for a long time and just do a whole bit before this.
And then they get less time. Oopsies. All right, and I'm going to start the time now.
Okay, Debbi. So you met Debbi. Okay, one thing about Debbi, she's a great actress. She's in a lot of things, a lot of things around Tulsa and a lot of things locally, and does a lot of commercial work and different things because she's very talented.
This would be a great segue for her after the Lil Nicky for her to maybe plug something.
Yeah.
Or she's not doing anything.
Well, she's going to have to accept or decline it first, and then she can plug it.
Okay, how would you describe Debbi?
How would I describe Debbi? Oh, well, I think she's very talented, obviously, with that. I think she's really funny.
Tally. Debbi and talented. Tally.
Well, okay, we got one. Okay. Tally. It's with an I because her name's with an I.
I like it.
Tally.
Talli?
Yeah.
Tally. Talented Debbi.
Yeah.
Sometimes you hit them right off the bat.
Yeah. Again, apologies to Ariel.
Ariel's took a long time.
And then she's very funny.
Funny. I was about to say funny.
With an I. And
now we got Tally.
She's
oh my God, Laffy Taffy. Laffy Tally?
That's a nickname of a nickname that you're doing. We're friends with her on Facebook as well, and she posts really funny things.
She does. Okay, she does.
Holds up.
Holds up.
A lot of cat stuff.
Holds up.
Holds up.
Funny things about cats, and then just funny little things she finds in everything. She's got a good sense of humor.
Kitty.
And not only does she share them, she typically has a little thing that she writes that expands upon the humor.
We could call her Kitty. Kittii.
Let's not. Okay.
What if at the end of this, we offer her a Lil Nicky, she's like, I actually really like Kitty.
You think that's going to happen?
If that ever does happen, are they allowed to request a change?
That has happened.
Oh,
that's not how Lil Nicky works.
All right.
Oh.
You know what?
Sorry, past Cade, things have evolved.
That's evolved after this. I don't know. Maybe. It's always possible that, that Ariel really loved Mayor Compass. Was that her?
She loved Mayor
Oh, that was
That was Ariel.
And that's what we call her now. Maybe we're calling her
Mayor
Ariel right now,
Compass.
but
Well, that was
an
a alternative
Mayor
one.
Compass every time.
Oh, that's right. We didn't land on
But
that one.
Debbie. So, anyways, Debbie, how would you describe Debbie?
I mean, I think you really hit it. Like, I would also say funny. I'd say talented as well.
She knows when to be serious and when to be funny. Like, she really takes her craft
Almost,
really seriously.
we're
Anytime
talking
she's on
similar
set,
things as we
she
did.
really, takes what she's doing.
Debbie
really
is
seriously.
consistent.
and that's great to have someone who really.
She's very reliable.
Yes, and she was always there before time, and she was always really great. Again,
there we
if
go.
anybody's wanting to hire someone who's really talented, look into her. Debbi
We didn't
Tucker.
need to do the first part of the segment
I
at
was
all.
going to say, we could have opened with the Lil Nicky at this point.
Yeah, I think so. Is your name Deborah? Is that or is it actually Debbie?
Given name is Deborah.
Okay.
My mother said all the women were naming their daughters Deborah at that time. I said, well, that should have told you something right there.
So, but you've gone by Debbie.
Yeah, I prefer Debbie.
And you spell it with an I, right?
Debbi.
Yep. So yeah. we
So
got that.
when you act in something and they're getting your name for the credits, do you prefer using Debbie?
Oh yeah,
That's your
yeah.
professional name.
That's the name that I use. A lot of people assume that it has the E on the end, and they're surprised that it doesn't. There are different ways to spell it. I've tried to separate myself from the DEBBIE or the DEBIs.
So you like the DBBI.
That's what you get when you get a common name. You can't really do a lot with it.
Yeah.
Alex.
You could be Alexa, Alexis, Alexis.
I do sometimes go. Some people call me like Alexander. And my name is just 4 letters, Alex.
That's
But
your birth name. It's not short for anything.
not short for anything. Just full, just plain Alex.
Yeah.
But
Alexei.
Alexa.
The Russian name, Alexa.
Yes.
Alexa.
Anyone as long as
Alexi, I think it's pronounced.
if anyone calls me any variation of Alex, I will just go by it. I don't. I'm just like, all right, close enough. Lex, Alex.
What's your middle name?
Walter.
Oh, okay. So you can go by AAW.
AW.
Ah.
You know, when I was a kid, this is totally off topic, but when I was a kid, this is sort of a Little Nicky. I was really into wrestling, and I was always like, what would my wrestling name be? And I was like, would it be AWC? Would it be Ock? And I contemplated that. I never found myself a wrestling name, but the best I could come up with would just be like, it's AWC.
Ock's good. Ock.
Could be Ox. I could be Ox.
See,
Alex.
my initials is Cat. It is Cat. CATE.
It is.
CAT.
There you go.
Cat.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go.
And she loves cats.
There you go, Cats. Taco Cat. Same.
All right.
T. B.
Bumblebee.
Oh, we're breaking down your name. Bumblebee. We mentioned that earlier.
Believe.
Believe.
This is mostly free
so-
word association as we're trying to come up with anything.
Tabby. Like a tabby cat. B.
Tabby.
I don't know where the ta's coming from. Tabby.
Probably from Tally, the other one.
Yeah.
B.
Or talented.
Be happy. Be energetic. Be acting.
Be acting. Be Arthur.
Be Arthur.
Okay, we got
Golden
4 minutes.
Girls.
3.5.
It'd really be Betty White.
What was the first one we came up with?
Tally.
Kind of good that
It
one.
was kind of good. Did we just breeze over that and not give enough love for Tally?
We may have. We're just so instant.
Tally.
Because we haven't been able to get anything else. Tally's kind of
Tally.
sticking there.
Yeah.
The only other thing I was thinking is like Tabby, because like cats, tabby cat. But I don't know, Tally or Tabby?
I think Tally.
Tally.
Well, let's do that.
We're going to do a Tally. Debbie,
That's a quick 8 minutes.
your Little Nicky is Tally.
Yes. Debbie, do you accept or decline your Little Nicky?
It could be worse.
Markedly, it has been worse.
I mean, Tabby. If you're talking cats, you got Callie, Co.
We could have come up with some more ones. Cat-related ones.
Didn't think that. We just kind of broke down the name, and it's interesting to hear back 2 years ago just how we What did we do?
That was interesting.
Did you like the segment? It has been a divisive segment. A lot of people don't like hearing people talk about them. In retrospect, might not have been a good concept of like they having us talk about you in the room that we're also in, and we're like listening to ourselves. It's kind of an awkward situation.
It'll be really embarrassing if we say something bad about someone, like, you know, if we do one and then we're like listening back and we just like call them a name.
I thought it was all. I thought it was fine because you didn't say anything.
So if someone comes up,
anything Tally, I don't know. Is that a copyright infringement on the restaurant?
There is a Tulsa restaurant called Tally's.
Oh,
Yes,
but it's not spelled with an I.
It's
like
a
this
Y.
one.
yeah, this would be Talli.
Okay.
So if someone comes up to you and says, "Are you Tally from the Cade Friends podcast?" Would you reply to that, or would you just say no?
I probably would say yes. I don't take it. There's nothing wrong with the tally. Nothing that I could
Great.
say that I just empirically dislike.
Yeah, we're doing pretty well with our yeses then.
Yeah, I think so.
We had one
Yeah.
negotiation, but
Tally or Tabby. I would go with Tabby, except my cat is a Maine Coon. He's not a Tabby.
Yeah.
All right, so Tally it is.
Tally, we got an acceptance.
Tally is fine.
So we can refer
Tally
to you as
is
Tally.
fine.
Okay, perfect. There we go.
Tally,
I
and my last name that fits with my last name.
does.
Looky there.
there you go.
All right, Tally. So next show you're on, next movie, next credits you're in. I expect to see Debbi Tally.
Tally and
Tally Tucker.
yeah, Tally Tucker.
Debbi Tally Tucker. There we go. DTT. All right.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean, it wasn't a ringing endorsement, but it was an acceptance.
I mean, you haven't provided a list of alternatives, so
it's like,
go with what we got.
it's just one of those where it's like, someone just like is like, "Oh, I'll buy you lunch," and then they just give you like, I don't know, like a salad. I don't like salad, which is why I use that metaphor. It's like, oh well, you gave me something, I guess, so I can't be mad, but I'm not cheering out for it.
Okay. Well, that has been Lil Nicky. How do you think Alex is doing with his sound roll? Think he's doing a good job with the sound effects?
Probably so.
I haven't used much applause or any.
I haven't done a lot of the soundboard.
Mm-hmm. We do have a few different options. So if you say something particularly sad, we have a little trombone. If you do like a little joke, you can get a little. But there you go. So
It was pretty well timed.
yeah.
Certainly was.
And then we do have a laughter, which is obnoxiously long.
Yeah.
Must have been a very good joke.
It dies down and then it comes back.
It just I want to know the setting for that laughter. Did they actually get someone to tell a joke? Is it just like
It
10
seems
voices?
very much that they were just told to laugh, the audience.
They're holding up the sign. Applause. Laugh.
Please clap.
Please clap. So what would be your dream role, Debbi? If someone came along and was like, what would you want to play?
Hollywood comes to you.
Hollywood comes to you.
Oh goodness, it could be. I'd have to do the categories: drama, comedy, and age appropriate. Probably, I couldn't be playing a younger.
Well,
you look at something like I admire the actresses in my age range that I really admire, like Meryl Streep. Helen Mirren, Viola Davis, Judi Dench, those something that would require great depth.
is there a movie that whether it's a future movie or a past movie, from whenever? I guess that doesn't really make sense, does it? Is there a movie?
Have you seen a movie from the future?
Well, my thought process was is there a movie that you would like to join in the future?
Oh.
But kind of, is there a movie, if they were to remake a movie, you would like to be in it? Or if you could put yourself in a movie from, your lifetime, is there a movie that you would love to do if they remade it or something?
Oh, there again, you have the drama versus comedy. Because the dramas are really dramatic, the ones that I really like, really drawn to. And I like dark comedy. I love the Coen brothers. I'm a big fan of the Coen brothers, Quentin Tarantino.
Quentin, if you're watching, hire Debbi. Debbi wants
to. But for really good comedy, just laugh out loud, just well-written. I loved all the Monty Python stuff, Holy Grail.
Okay. So if they ever make a new...
It would have been hilarious to be in, and the dramas are just... or comedy, Fargo. I don't know.
So if they ever
There's
make
way too many to pick from, but
exactly.
I'm trying to think now of the really good dramas, something like Steel Magnolias or something like that. Way back in the day, heart-wrenching Kramer versus Kramer. A lot,
So if they remade any of these... We'll contact you first.
Yeah.
New Monty Python,
also
new Steel Magnolias.
An odd thing.
Anything from the Coen brothers, I will. Gladly, just call me.
Yes.
Tarantino, just call me. It can be a little bloody. I don't care.
Yeah, and I believe Steel Magnolias has been name dropped in almost all of our podcast episodes for various
Steel Magnolias,
reasons.
fried green tomatoes. Any of the because the casts are just just wonderful casts.
Yeah,
it would be very hard to choose. I couldn't even choose my favorite movie. I'd also have to get into categories and say, can I give me 5 or 10 in each category? It's just hard.
Yeah. Do you have any advice that you've learned that you would like to give to actors at all?
If you're seriously going to do it, whether it's a hobby or you really want to try and make money, make it your life, be prepared for a lot of rejection. Know your limitations. If you say you're going to be there, say you're going to do something, be there and do it. I guess that's enough.
And if you had any advice for your younger self, what would you do?
How much younger? Get started on it sooner, especially when I first moved to Austin, because the interest was there. I just didn't, really.
Yeah.
Didn't really get into it as much until I came back to Oklahoma. So
and there's a lot happening in Austin as well currently.
Oh yeah, Austin is like a mecca there's a lot of meccas now. You got New Mexico, Atlanta.
And a lot of stuff's coming here now too.
Oh yes, with the incentives.
Yeah, and Cherokee Nation's doing a lot too. I've seen a lot of that, and they're trying to bring things over to the Cherokee Nation districts, to the reservation.
I wish that I had some native blood.
Yes,
that would help along those.
But they'll be bringing
lines.
in a lot of just productions in general to there that needs all sorts of actors and things. Yeah.
That'd be wonderful. My agent actually, she also does hair and makeup, and she did that for Reservation Dogs.
Yes,
and I'd love to get. I had friends that worked on it. I submitted for some extra background roles and didn't ever get a call, but that's how it goes. But if it's picked up for season 2, I'll try again.
Yes, I think it has been picked up for season 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. I think I did.
Yeah.
See that? That's excellent. So, fingers crossed.
Exactly, and there's just a lot of things that I know Andrew talked about. He worked as an extra several different days on Killers of the Flower Moon.
Oh, that's another. Yeah, lucky. I have some friends that had decent roles. Some men. They were mostly men roles, or worked for the Native Americans. There were very few, and this along with Reagan, if I can say names. The only drawback to some of is that they have restrictions as far as the females. There were size restrictions. You couldn't be over a size like 8, which was a bit depressing, because if you want a realistic view, and not everybody in those decades wore 8 or smaller, and it's like
Yeah.
with all the money, the big budget they're spending, it was a little bit like, oh man, really? But it is what it is. I mean, it brought revenue into the state.
Yeah. No, that is certainly a thing that, is a problem that, that I'm glad that you addressed that.
It's just a decision by whoever, the production company to limit to that. I've worked on period films. I worked when I lived in Austin. This is an excellent story with Tree of Life, the Terrence Malick thing.
Yeah.
It was shot in Austin. It was about the last thing I worked on. It was shot outside of Austin. And it was almost done because the main actors had rapped, Brad Pitt had rapped, and I was just an extra, a background person, but it was a closed set. You couldn't take pictures. Everything was secret. Period clothing. The wardrobe was extensive. It was, down to the women's foundation garments, so to speak.
Oh, wow.
But I went there for my fitting and all, and I was sent down to hair and makeup, and I was in hair and makeup sitting next to me, and we chatted. She was so nice, Jessica Chastain.
Yes.
And that, you just never know. It's,
yeah.
It was early on in her career.
Yeah.
But she was the sweetest thing. But they had no issue with size on that. It depends. You just wonder, and for those of us that were hoping, and then hopes are dashed. Oh, man. Go on a diet, a fast diet. No. Yeah. But it is what it is.
It's odd because, a lot of times, they're needing people, and it's weird that they would exclude people whenever they're actively. You hear a lot of them. They're just trying to get as many people in some
true.
sets.
True.
Yeah.
It is what it is. One of the scenes in Killers was a movie theater scene where you would be sitting in a theater watching, but yet,
yeah,
it did not. It just but you just gotta move forward and accept it, and maybe there'll be another thing you can do. So
exactly. We're gonna go to our last segment here.
Should hopefully open some more conversations.
Yes.
Oh.
This segment. Oh, was it Prost?
Prost.
This segment is called Prost Party.
It's this little classical music here.
Or if you're a longtime listener, Prost Party.
I almost think about calling it Proust Party because that's how we called it in the past. But whenever we asked Google about this, she said it. Well, you want to ask Google again?
Yeah, maybe it's changed. Hey Google, what is the Proust questionnaire?
According to Wikipedia, the Proust questionnaire is a set of questions answered by the French writer Marcel Proust and often used by modern interviewers. Proust answered the questionnaire in a confession album, a form of parlor game popular among Victorians.
So, yes. So that's sort of why they have...
Maybe Americanized as Proust.
Oh, this should be interesting.
So, yeah, these are...
Victorian-era questions.
Yeah, and so a lot of them are these kind of a little bit older words that's fallen out of use, so that's not how we would describe it. But there's also... people I think Vanity Fair would do this a lot, and they would interview famous people, and they would just use this this famous questionnaire, and
it's not like a cosmopolitan survey, is it?
No, it's not.
It ranges in the questions from who is your what president do you look up to or something,
or what historical figure. What it's about. Love or it's not too much about that, but it's about what are your values is sort of the what it ends up.
That's quite the range of questions.
Okay,
so Cade has his own phone list.
I have my phone list. It's 1 out of 20. So it just we're going to do 2 of these.
Okay,
and they'll be open to everybody, but especially Debbie with this. So if you want to give 2 random numbers, we can ask Google if you want to do random numbers. Google can also do a random number.
How many questions are there?
There's 20, so 1 through 20.
Okay, random number 15.
15? Okay.
Oops. Just hitting the table. Getting comfy.
Okay. What do you most value in your friends? That's a good question.
That's a great question.
We should just need to ask that more often in this.
Yeah.
Honesty.
Yeah, that's very important. And you have a lot of friends that are just from different areas and stuff too, right? Yeah.
Honesty, truthfulness, which is kind of the same, trustworthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely being, especially I'm sure like doing what you're doing where especially like if you're doing stuff for a friend and if it's going to be a paid work, trusting that, it'll come in.
Yeah. Well, it's also just that's I would imagine, acting it's difficult because like you put a lot of trust in the people who are producing the thing and like you hope that what you do is conveyed well in the projects that you work on. And so like you work on a thing and then you have to sort of like hand it off to these other people to sort of complete the relay race. And that's a lot of trust that you have to have in that process as well.
Yeah, but it applies to anything, any kind of relationship. You don't want fake people, or what we used to call back in the 70s, plastic people. It's always best to be honest up front and truthful, even if it is a little hurtful.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, I think that's
value.
I try to be just honest. I hate lying, so I think it's best to just be like truthful and straightforward.
Right. And it can be done tactfully. It might open up lines of communication in some.
Yeah,
honesty is very important.
I think it's better to air your grievances, and you might have a fight, but it's better to like I'm always of the opinion if you're going to like. If something is bothering you, you might as well just like tell them, because eventually it's either tell them then whenever it's happening, or you tell them later, and then it just starts a bigger fight. And so it's just it's just why wait, why let it build up whenever because if you stop it early, you're going to talk about it. You might have a small fight and then you'll get over it fast. But if you let it build up over years and years and years, it'll just it might just be a big breaking point.
Even handle it in the proper manner. Don't let it sit inside you and stew and stew and stew, and then it just erupts and you end up on first 48.
Yeah. It's okay to fight. I think it's okay to argue. I think it's okay to fight.
Arguing, they say, is good in the relationship. There is good arguing.
Mm-hmm. Just having, I think, people that you can have conversations with, like the certain things. It's tough to. You'll have friends that you aren't as open with, and that is not as a deep of a friendship if you have things that are off limits, or you just can't feel like you can't talk to them. And so just having that sort of openness to have these difficult conversations, or just conversations in general, is important to just be able to have.
Yep, that's right.
Okay, you want another number, or do you want Google? You want to ask Google a number?
I kind of want. Hey Google, roll a 20-sided dice.
It's 17.
17. That is, who are your favorite writers? It's not as fun. Do you have favorite writers?
I do not. So what's fun about that is that you can make her roll any number of dice. So you can have her like up to 20. You can have her roll like a
cool.
like a 13-sided dice.
If you need to decide between two things, you can have her flip a coin. You can two different things.
Not a great number, that one. We should maybe erase that one.
We'll just do number one, since no one ever asks.
No one ever
asked number one.
And it's a really good one. What is your idea of perfect happiness? Perfect happiness.
I'll go first, I guess, since it was sort of directed at me. Air quotes. I think for me, I like having friends. Happiness is like the friends and having a family, and whether that family is blood or just like your chosen family. That's always been like my kind of happiness. I work in amusement parks and riding roller coasters and stuff. Like I really enjoy that. And so my happiness there would be just like having a family and just like not being alone. I would also say that's one of my biggest fears. We've
already
alone.
done that segment.
Yeah. A nice little callback, if you will.
Yeah. What is your idea of perfect happiness, Debbie?
A lot of that. Just being at peace with yourself, living life with very few regrets, being happy in the place that you're in, good, bad, being able to take a look at yourself honestly, see what is good, what is bad, and accepting. My motto, is it motto or mantra? Accept, adapt, and move on.
Yeah. It's definitely a difficult thing sometimes to, move on from something, let something go. And that's something that you have to sort of learn to be able to do. And what is it they say to the wisdom to accept what you can change
what you can, and accept the things you can't.
You look directly at me with two words, and I was like,
it's a very common thing that people that is, I believe, a mantra that people say.
I have heard that once you said that, but I was like, you're asking the wrong guy.
I would like success, but then it's also a big fear of mine that, like, at the end of the day, you achieve some sort of level of success and it's hollow at the end of it is a big fear, so there's perhaps, it's more to life than that.
Cade, would you rather be successful but doing stuff you don't enjoy, or would you rather do what you enjoy but not as successful?
Oh, you would always want to do the things that you enjoy and not have any success. Yeah, of course. I wouldn't want to be successful in, I don't know, something else. I mean, I like drawing and stuff, but it's not particularly what I love. If I had some success in that sort of field, it would be like, oh, but can you watch my films or do other things? And that's,
It's like, define success. How do you measure success? Is it monetary, or is it?
That's a good question too. Yeah. Is it, what is it?
Add it in. We're making our own Proust questionnaire.
Exactly. No, that's a big question about,
do you go by society's version? Everybody has their own perspective.
Yes. No, you're absolutely right. It's a great question.
What is your version of success, Debbi?
Don't go by what others think or what their guidelines are. It's your own.
It's what you find.
It's
personally.
Your personal measure of success by your standards or qualifications. I don't know, whatever you say, because there's so many different things. You're not going to be. Nothing's 100% perfect. No one on earth is 100% perfect.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Great. Yeah. That is Proust party or Proust party.
Better than a pity party.
Well, I think we'll wrap this up here. Do you have anything that you'd like to plug, Debbi, at all? Anything that people can?
We were supposed to let her plug after the Lil Nicky. We missed our opportunity.
You went off script.
Yeah, we went off script.
Who's directing this?
We'll get them swapped out for next time.
As far as upcoming, I mean, most everything film-wise that I've done is already out. A lot of stuff is on Amazon. If you want a very good drama that is relevant, on Amazon Prime, it's called No Ordinary Love.
It's great.
You've watched it.
I watched it, yeah.
It is about intimate abuse within marriages. The writer-director is excellent. She took a white couple and a black couple, and both are going through this. And I'm fortunate enough to play the mother of the gentleman in the white couple who is the abuser, more or less. But yeah, you can rent that on Amazon Prime. Of course, Minari, but that's I'm glad I was in it because she won Best Supporting Actress, and it was filmed here, so very proud of that. Upcoming this year at some point is a faith-based drama called Nefarious that I worked on in Oklahoma City. I don't know when it'll be out, but it should be interesting. I was just a background extra on it, but that scene is going to be pretty intense. So be on the lookout for that. It stars the young man, Sean Patrick Flannery, I think is his name. He played Powder back in '95, which was a very interesting movie. You guys should look it up.
Yeah, no idea.
Powder like makeup powder.
Okay.
Yeah, check it out. It was a very unique, unusual movie.
Right.
You'd like it. But yeah, that's it.
And if people wanted to like book you for a role, how would they do that?
Hit me up on Facebook. If it is something, of course, anything in Oklahoma, my agent covers me in Oklahoma. That's the Tab Agency in Oklahoma City. They are great.
Debbi Tucker.
So yeah.
Debbi Tucker.
You're on IMDb. They can check
I
you
am
out.
on IMDb. I'm Facebook.
Yeah.
So there you go. If you have anything you need a crazy old lady, or I can be serious too.
Yes, you can. Cool.
But yeah, it's great to reconnect with these two crazy guys.
And I'd love to work on a project with you in the future too.
Yeah,
once
let's
I
do
that.
it.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
exactly.
Write me another one.
That is Debbi.
Oh, you got applause.
Please,
Great.
just as long as you don't hide behind another tree on set trying
Oh
not
my
to
gosh,
see.
that was the photo of that is just kind of.
Oh no, that's hilarious.
It was good to see you again, Debbi.
It was great to see you guys. Thanks for asking me.
No problem.
As is tradition for this podcast, we will be going to get lunch with Debbi.
Ooh, are you buying?
That's what we always say.
Look, there on the spot. You all hear it. Are you buying?
We
It's
always-
a yes or no question. It's very simple.
Realistically, no, but we always say yes. Our going on bit now is we're going to buy them lunch, and then we never do.
We will this time. We will buy your lunch, Debbi.
All right.
Well, I think the idea was that you were like we were supposed to buy the first person's, and then like then we forgot. But
You better hope they're not listening. They're going to come back.
And then the next person, I did buy them queso.
Yeah.
That we all ate,
But
so sort of, it's sort of a, kind of, we're getting there. So maybe the next logical step is to buy.
Yeah.
But I think the bit is funnier to just, always say we do it, because then that could become a tradition. We'll say we're going to buy them lunch, and then we never do.
It's kind of a mean tradition, but
Well, see, and you just said it all here, so now they know they're not really going to buy me lunch.
Well-
and better have money on hand or like plastic.
You at home, let's get a close up, Cade. You at home can help support lunch for our guests on this podcast by simply becoming one of our Patreons.
yes.
You can help feed our guest.
And then you could get a bit of
Give
extra
some
content.
swag or something.
Yeah, some extra content. There's extra content.
Yeah, mic check. We had a mic check with Debbi. I don't remember what we talked about on our mic check. Do you remember? It was a long time ago. Great. Okay.
Did we ask?
There's the flamingo bit.
Flamingo. We asked
Yes,
flamingo.
the pink flamingo.
We learned a lot about flamingos.
We're becoming an animal. It's almost an animal Patreon content pack.
But how about those pink plastic ones that people put in their yard? I mean, they automatically come pink, or do they? When you first buy them, are they white?
yeah.
Do they change as they?
I think that would be, if you're in a marketing or a designer, flamingos that change color the older they get.
Yes.
To be, spot on.
Realistic. You can get the baby ones, plastic baby ones, and then they can, or blow up baby flamingos that you can, as they mature, then they can change.
Fun fact, real quick. When I was in high school, one of the fundraising events we would do, we would be like, we would flamingo someone, or we would flock someone, and we would put.
What's that mean?
We would
You put all these flamingos in their yard.
You put all the
really?
flamingos. Yeah, you get a bunch of pink
You
flamingos.
had to buy a bunch of pink flamingos?
Well, they're like $1 a piece or whatever. You buy like 20 of them, and then you put them in the
Where
yard.
do you get those at?
I don't know.
Just Walmart,
teacher
whatever?
got them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so what you do is you put them in the yard, and then you put a paper or something on the door, and it says, it's $100 to remove these. But so you put them to places they're going to give you the money. So you put them in friends and relatives.
You've been flocked.
You've been flocked, yeah. And so, you charge them to remove it. It might just be, donate to get them removed. And so, you can do it whether like it's $100 or you just charge them. I don't know how much we charge. I just know we were like, find some people you think would donate to us. And then you just.
Oh, so it was a charity event.
It was a charity thing, yeah.
We had people in Austin, there was a business, like it was a nursery, florist and flowers and whatever, had all these pink flamingos out in front. And then they were all found. They were all just like laying. They weren't. They were laying flat on the ground. They said they've been affected by the bird flu. Pink flamingos were laying all.
It was always fun because our teacher would drive us there, and then they would turn out the lights and drive because we would do it at night and. The goal was to not get caught, so that way they wake up the next day or they come outside later that night and they just see flamingos.
So did they know that it was for a good cause or something?
Yeah, we put on a paper. We were okay. You've been flocked. This is the 8 Air because I went to 8 Air schools. It was our robotics team. It was like the 8 Air robotics team. It explained what we were doing and donate and then we'll come and remove them. So we'll remove. And so it's a great way to make
so then
money.
You would use that flamingos then for the next person?
Yeah. So then we would pick up the flamingos and go to the next place like the next night, and you do it at night. You ideally they don't have a no trespassing sign.
Did anybody really get mad about it?
No, because we always chose people who were like they were either friends of ours or they were family. We were told choose people that That way, they're not going to get mad at us or anything. Not going to shoot us.
It takes half the fun out of it.
Yeah, but we didn't want to put it in someone
without a little bit of danger.
Or you could choose a different kind of bird or animal.
We didn't want to put it in someone's yard that's just going to tear them up and throw them away. And we wanted to get some money out of them, but it was a fun event. We get to go in at night and just. Put these flamingos everywhere. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Subscribe to our Patreon if you'd like.
Thanks, everybody. Support these guys.
Support Debbi in or around the Tulsa, Springfield, Oklahoma City area. Debbi Tucker.
Thank you.